Hello aspirants, welcome to Introspection IS. In our ongoing series of prelims PYQs discussion on polity, we are excited to begin a new topic, legislature, which includes the parliament and state legislature also. Kindly continue with us as we carefully analyze this key topic in Indian polity to support your preparations for the upcoming examinations. So let's start discussions. So the very first question under the parliament was asked in 2024. So let's see the questions. So let's analyze the questions. The question says, which of the following statement are correct in respect of money bill in parliament? So the question is about a money bill. So as we know that the money bill definition is given under article 110 and the procedure with respect to money bill is given under article 109. Clear? So let's see the questions. Statement. The first statement says, the very first statement, that article 109 mentions special procedure in respect of money bill. So yes, it is true that the article 109 talks about a procedure of the money bill. So if we use the elimination method, so B cannot be our answer. So now if we move to the second statement, a money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of Ministers, that is Rajya Sabha. It is also true. Why? Because money bill is a subject to expenditure with respect to public purse, and being the Lok Sabha directly representative of the people, so public purse is under the exclusive control of Lok Sabha. So the Raj Sabha has no power with respect to the money bill. So 2 is our also correct statement. So if we see, so on the basis of elimination, so D cannot be also the answer because it does not contain the statement 2. Now if you see the third statement, the Rajya Sabha can either approve the bill or suggest changes but cannot reject it. Yes, it is also true. Why? Because the Rajya Sabha has no power with respect to the money bill, as we have seen. So it cannot also reject the money bill, or it cannot also recommend. It can only suggest a recommendations with respect to the bill. So this is also true. So after analyzing the first 2, 3, we can say that our answer to this question is C, that 1, 2 and 3. Now we'll see why the fourth statement is incorrect. So the fourth says that amendments of a money bill suggested by the Rajya Sabha have to be accepted by Lok Sabha. It means the statement says that it is mandatory on the Lok Sabha to accept the suggestions of the Raj Sabha. No, it is not true. Why? Because the Raj Sabha has no power with respect to the money bill. So if they have no power, so it also means that their suggestions will only be in advisory notice, not a binding process of, or it is not binding on Lok Sabha. So because of this binding nature provided in the statement, we can say that this statement is incorrect. Clear? Now we will see the explanations to the given question. So if we see the explanations, so Article 109 talks about a special procedure in the respect of money bill. So the first said exclusive introduction in Lok Sabha. A money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha, not in the Rajya Sabha. This is true, which talks in the why, because of why the second statement is correct. Clear? Now second, role of a Rajya Sabha. Once the Lok Sabha passes a bill, it's sent to the Raj Sabha for the consideration. This is a normal procedure with respect to the bill in the both houses, right? Now what is special about the money bill? That it bears a certification of speaker of the Lok Sabha, and his certification is final. So the Lok Sabha, after the bill has been passed by speaker, after the bill has been passed by the Lok Sabha, certify that this bill is a money bill and his certification is final. Then the Rajya Sabha loses its power with respect to the money bill. So second said the Rajya Sabha cannot amend or reject the money bill. It can only suggest recommendations. So yes, it is true, and because of this the third statement is also true, and the first statement is true because all this procedure has been mentioned in article 109. So now if you see the time limitations with respect to the money bill, so Rajya Sabha must return the money bill to the Lok Sabha with recommendations within 14 days. So there is a time limitations with respect to money bill, right? That is a 14 days. So within a 14 days, the money bill has to be returned to the Lok Sabha by the Rajya Sabha. Now this time limitation is also there with the ordinary bill, but that time limitation is for the 6 month. Clear? Now suppose that what if the Rajya Sabha does not return the bill to the money bill to the Lok Sabha within a stipulated time period of 14 days, then so it says that if the Rajya Sabha fails to return the bill within this period, that is of 14 days, the bill is considered passed by both the houses in form it was originally passed by the Lok Sabha. So it means that this part of the article reject the possibilities of joint sittings between the two houses with respect to money bill. But in the case of ordinary bill, if the Rajya Sabha does not return the bill within a period of 6 months, this will consider as a deadlock between the two houses. And if there is a deadlock, then there will be the joint sitting called by the president. But the provisions of joint sitting is not available in the case of money bill. Clear? Now it comes under the Lok Sabha discretions. So Lok Sabha may reject or accept or reject the recommendations made by the Rajya Sabha, and because of this the fourth statement is true, incorrect, not true but incorrect. Why? Because the fourth statement says that it makes it mandatory on the Lok Sabha to accept the recommendation of Rajya Sabha, but it is not true. So it is total discretionary of Lok Sabha. If the Lok Sabha chooses to reject the recommendations, the bill is deemed passed in its original form. Clear? Now certifications by speaker. So speaker of the Lok Sabha has the authority to certify a bill as a money bill. This certification is final and cannot be challenged in a challenge. So it cannot be challenged that why it has been certified as a money bill. Clear? So this is the questions with respect to the money bill, the procedure of money bill. Right? Next, move to the next questions. So next question was also asked in 2024. So let's analyze the questions. With reference to union budget, consider the following statement. So this is basically a union budget which is under the constitution known as an annual financial statement. So let's consider the statement with respect to the union budget. So union finance minister on behalf of prime minister lays an annual financial statement before both house of parliament. So yes, it is true that the union finance minister laid down present the budget, but on behalf of prime minister, no, it is not true. It is not true. That is done on the behalf of president according to article 112, right? So on this only, just because of the prime minister mention of a prime minister in this questions, the whole statement makes it incorrect. Is it clear why the first statement is incorrect? Because of the mentions of prime ministers. Now, if you see the second statement, at the union level, no demand for grant can be made except on the recommendation of the president. Yes, it is true. This is according to article 113 is true. So answer to this question is B. That is only 2 is correct. Only second statement is correct. Now, if you see the explanations to these questions. So article 112 talks about annual financial statement. Now it says that the president, the clause 1 of the article 112 says that the president shall, in respect of every financial year, cause to be laid before both house of parliament a statement of the estimate received and expenditure of the government of India for that year. And this part referred to as an annual financial statement. Clear? So because of this, through this we can say that it is not a prime minister on whose behalf the finance minister introduced the or laid down the budget in parliament, rather it is a president. Now if you see the second statement why it is true, so it says that article 113 gives procedure in parliament with respect to the estimates. So according to article 113 clause 3, which says that no demand for grant shall be made except on the recommendation of president. So whatever the demand of grant shall be there, that should be done only on the recommendation of president. And this demand for grant means that the government is demanding for budget. This is a demand for grant is a kind of request, we can say that. This is a request from the government. And they're requesting to whom? They're requesting to parliament that we required certain amount of budget. So this is a demand for grant means they are requesting a budget. So this demand for grant has been made only on the recommendation of president, and because of this we can say the second statement is true. Clear? Now let's move to the next. The third question is also been asked in 2024. Let's see the questions. Read the question first. So with reference to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, consider the following statement. So this statement talks about a presiding officer of Lok Sabha. So before the starting these questions, we should know that there is a presiding officer of the Parliament. Clear? And we know the Parliament has two houses, Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. Each house has two presiding officer. The presiding officer of Lok Sabha is known as Speaker and a Deputy Speaker. Both of these are elected among the members, among its own members, and by its own members. Raj Sabha has one chairman, presiding officer as a chairman. Now, this chairman is an vice president of India, is an ex officio chairman. So Raj Sabha does not elect its own presiding officer, that is a vice president becomes a chairman, but it elects a deputy chairman. Election is similar to that of an similar to deputy speaker of Lok Sabha, that is among its own member, right? And the functions of these two presiding officers of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are almost similar in accepting certain few cases, but almost similar. Now let's consider with respect to the reference to speaker. So it says that while any resolutions for the removal of speaker of the Lok Sabha is under considerations, right? So it is a removal process. So it is elected by the Lok Sabha, so also removed by the House, Lok Sabha only, right? So it says that he or she shall not be preside. Yes, it is true. So it is natural justice, concept of natural justice, where a person accused cannot be given a chance to preside, or to be his own judge, his to be his own judge. Is presiding over means becoming a judge. So yes, it is true that he cannot preside over his own removal process. So C cannot be answered because it does not contain the statement 1. He or she shall not have a right to speak. Now this is incorrect. Why? Because it is also against the natural justice. Why it is injustice? Because the accused the accused have also rights to have rights to present his case, right? So in this case, if he does not get a chance to speak, he cannot present his own case. He cannot put his own statement why he has been accused or why he is not guilty of that. So 2 cannot be the true. So 2 is not true. This means B and D cannot be answer. So through elimination method, we can arrive to our answer is that is A. Only 1 is true. Now let's see why the third statement is also incorrect. So third statement says that he or she shall not be entitled to vote on the resolutions in the first instance. No, it is incorrect. Why? Because they are entitled to vote in the first instance. Now, to understand the vote in the first instance, we should understand that presiding officer, when they are presiding the any preceding or businesses of the house, so they can vote only in case of of tie. So it means if there is a tie in the decisions, though their vote can be used as a tiebreaker, right? So in this case, the speaker is not presiding, so the speaker will be participate as a normal member to the in the proceeding, so he will get a voting right as a normal member also, that is to vote in the very first instance. So the presiding officer who will preside over the removal process of Lok Sabha, in general it has been done by the deputy speaker. So deputy speaker will have a that is he has to vote to first instance. Clear? Yes or no? So the deputy speaker will act as a tiebreaker vote. So because of this, the third is incorrect. So let's see the explanation. So Article 96 deal with the speakers or deputy speaker not to preside while a resolution for his removal from office is under considerations. So it says that the Article 96 says that speaker or deputy speaker cannot preside over the meeting of houses while a resolution for the removal is being discussed. The speaker or deputy speaker shall have the right to speak. So this to the very first statement of the Article 96 can give answer to the very first statement, that the first is true, that they cannot preside over the removal process, but they have a right to speak, and because of this the second statement is incorrect. Now the next statement under 96 says that a speaker or deputy speaker are allowed to participate in the proceeding as a member of the house and can vote in the first instance or during divisions, and because of this the third statement is incorrect. Only the presiding officer does not have a first instant vote. If they are not presiding, it means they have been participating as a normal member, so they will have a first instant vote. The deputy speaker of the Lok Sabha will preside over the proceedings if the speaker is being considered for removal. Similarly, a deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha will preside over the proceeding of that is a vice president is being considered for removal. If the deputy speaker or deputy chairman is absent, any other members determined by the rules of the house will be preside. So if there is no deputy chairman or deputy speaker, so there will be any member who has been decided by the house to preside over the removal of speaker. Clear? Okay, let's move to the next question. So next question was also asked in 2024. Right, now it says that with reference to the Indian Parliament, consider the following statement. So there is three statement given and we need to find the correct answer. So the very first statement said the bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its resolutions. Right, so this is an questions about the dissolutions. So we should understand the duration or tenure of parliament. As we know that the parliament has a two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, right? So Rajya Sabha has a tenure of 5 years. That is it, the form for 5 years, right? And it is subject to dissolution. It is subject to dissolutions. So now when can it be dissolutions? It can dissolve on two occasions. First, at the influx of time. It means when it completed the 5 years, so automatically it will be dissolved. Well, it will dissolve. The second, it will dissolve by president. Can be dissolved by the president. Clear? Now this can be done by the two on the advice of Council of Ministers or by his own. Right. So when he can use his own, when the Council of Ministers, when the House, that is Lok Sabha, lost its confidence in the Council of Ministers. So Council of Ministers will lose its majority And if Council of Ministers lose its majority, so there is no Council of Ministers. So in that case, the President may dissolve the House. Clear? So this, the Lok Sabha is subject to dissolutions. Whereas the Raj Sabha is a permanent house. Now what does this mean? So it means one thing, that have no tenure or no durations, no fixed tenure is there. And second thing, that it is not it is a permanent house and there is no duration or no fixed tenure, so not subject to dissolutions. Clear? Then then how does members who once become a member can be removed from house or cannot be a member? So it says that a member who is elected or nominated in the house, that one third of its member retire after every second year. It means a member who get a chance to be a person who get a chance to be a member of Raj Sabha will be in office or will be in Raj Sabha for the period of 6 years. So this 6 year is not a duration of Rajya Sabha, it is a duration of members to the Raj Sabha. Clear? So subject to dissolution is Lok Sabha, not a Raj Sabha. Now move back to the questions. So it says that a bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its dissolution. Yes, it is true that all the bill pending in Lok Sabha can be dissolved. So B, S, C and D cannot be the answer because it does not contain the first statement. Next says a bill passed by the Lok Sabha and pending in the Raj Sabha lapses on the dissolution of Lok Sabha. Yes, it is also true. Why? Because the bill is not completed its circle. So it has been true. So answer by analyzing the second statement, we can say that our answer to this question is B, that is 1 and 2. Now let's see why the third statement cannot be the answer or why it is incorrect. So it says that a bill in regard to which the President of India notified his or her intention to summon the House to a joint sitting lapses on dissolution of Lok Sabha. Yes, it is incorrect. Why? Because if the President can call for a joint sitting, the President, and when the President can use the technique of joint sitting, when there is a deadlock created between two houses. So in case of deadlock, the President will call for a joint sitting, and once the call is given for the joint sitting and after the joint sitting is called, the Lok Sabha dissolved, then also the bill will not lapse. Now the joint sitting will happen, and in this joint sitting the Raj Sabha will participate and old Lok Sabha will participate. Not the newly constituted Lok Sabha will get a chance to participate in the joint sitting, because the dispute is between the Raj Sabha and old Lok Sabha. Clear? So on the basis of this, the third statement is incorrect. Clear? Now let's move to the explanation to this. So if you see the explanation to this questions, so here we can see that Article 83 talks about durations of House of Parliament. So it talks about durations of House of Parliament with respect to Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha. The Raj Sabha is a permanent body and is not subject to dissolutions, is true. However, one third of its member retired every 2 years, ensuring continuity. The retiring members are eligible for re-elections or re-nominations. Now it is the next two is about the Lok Sabha. So it says the Lok Sabha has a normal tenure of 5 years from the date of its meeting. It may be dissolved earlier by the President of India based on advice of Council of Ministers. So this is a dissolutions. Now if you see the effect of dissolutions on a bill, so effect of dissolutions of Lok Sabha on bill. So there will be two effects. One, when the bill will lapse or when the bill will not lapse. So we'll see the two scenarios in which the bill will lapse, and in the second scenario when the bill will not lapse. So what are the cases when bill will lapse? So first says all bills originate in Lok Sabha and pending in Lok Sabha will lapse. Second, all bill originate in Lok Sabha and pending in Raj Sabha will lapse. Third, all bills originate in Raj Sabha and pending in Lok Sabha will also lapse. Next, all bills originate and passed by Rajya Sabha, but Lok Sabha return the bill for reconsiderations to Rajya Sabha will also lapse. So these are the cases when the bill will lapse after the Lok Sabha get dissolved. But there are certain cases when the bill will not lapse when the Lok Sabha is dissolved. So the first is that all bills originate and pending in Rajya Sabha but not passed by Lok Sabha will not lapse. All bills pending for assent of president, it means both the houses has passed the bill, now it is gone to the president for his assent, will also not lapse. If the president calls for a joint sitting, will also not lapse, and because of this the third statement to the of a question is incorrect, right? Next, if you see, all bills passed by both the house of parliament and president return the bill for reconsideration will also not lapse. So these are the certain circumstances when which the bill will not lapse after dissolution of Lok Sabha. Clear? So let's move to the next questions. Next question was also asked in 2024. Let's see the questions. With reference to the Parliament of India, consider the following statement. So the first statement said the prorogation of the House by President of India does not require the advice of Council of Ministers, right? So can the President prorogue the House without the advice of Council of Ministers? To answer these questions, we should know what is prorogations. So when we talk about a prorogation, so prorogation means this is suspending the whole session of a parliament, whole session of parliament without dissolving the Lok Sabha, right? And we know that there are three sessions in the parliament. Parliament has three sessions: winter session, monsoon session, and budget sessions. So prorogation means that whole session of parliament will be suspended, but the Lok Sabha life will not be dissolved. The Lok Sabha life will not end. So it means this has been done by the president on the advice of Council of Minister. So it is incorrect because it says that the advice of Council of Minister is not required. So it is incorrect. So if we see the options, so the first and second option cannot be our answer because it contained the first statement, which is incorrect. If we see the second, third and fourth option, so 3 is a common. So if you do not know about the third statement, if you know about the second statement, then also you can answer. So if you see the second statement, that prorogation of House is generally done after the House is adjourned sine die, but there is no bar to President of India prorogating the House which is in sessions. So yes, it is true. It has been called as it is true that it has been generally done as though there is no bar, but it is generally done when there is a House is been adjourned sine die. So we can say that the second statement is also true. So answer to this question, to the fifth question, is C, that is 2 and 3 is correct. Now to understand this, we should know what is adjournment sine die. So there is two terms, that is adjournment. One is adjourn and one is adjourn sine die. Now both of this calling for or done is been done by the presiding officer of the House. Presiding officer of House. Whereas prorogation is done by the president. Yeah. Now adjourn means suspending the business of the House for definite time period. Definite time period. Right. For example, we can say that the presiding speaker can call adjourn of the House till lunch or till tea or till evening. It means the message is clear that after lunch or after tea or after evening we will meet or we will again meet. So adjournment is done by the presiding officers with a time period, suspending the business of the house with a time period. But adjournment sine die is done, it means it has been suspending the business of the house, business of house without any time period or any time or indefinite time period or indefinite time period. If suppose the president or sorry speaker or chairman calls an adjournment sine die of the house, it means now it is only known by the presiding officer when the house will meet again. So the member are not in a positions to know when they will call for the meeting. But when the adjournment is called, so they are the members are also clear that after lunch or after 1 hour, after half an hour, or after tea we should be meeting. But when the adjournment sine die is done, it means the suspensions of the business of the house for the indefinite time period. It is only the presiding officer who can call for the reassembling or summing of the house. So generally the prorogations by the president is done when the adjournment sine die is done and uh, the presiding officer is not often or it not been summoned. So the president can call for the prorogations, but it is not binding. It can be also done without the adjournment sine die of the house is called for. Clear? Now, if you see the third, why it is true that dissolution of Lok Sabha is done by the President of India, who, save in exceptional circumstances, does so on the advice of Council of Ministers. Yes, that is in the exceptional council, it can call for the dissolution of the House on the advice of Council of Ministers, but not only on the advice of Council of Ministers. So yes, it is true that 2 and 3 is a correct statement. So if we see the explanations to these questions, if we see the explanations, so it says the session, Article 85 talks about sessions of Parliament, prorogations and dissolutions. So it says that the President shall from time to time summons each houses of Parliament to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit, but 6 months shall not intervene between its last sitting in one session and date appointed for its first sitting in the next sessions. Second says the president may from time to time prorogue the houses or either of the house. So it is not necessary that both the house should be prorogued, but it can prorogue Lok Sabha also or Rajya Sabha also. So it can also dissolve the House of People. And recently we have seen that Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolutions. Now we will see what is session of Parliament, prorogation, dissolutions. So session of Parliament means the President of India is responsible for summoning each House of Parliament when he can summons if he thinks that the period of 6 months lapse since the Parliament has met. So, right, if the gap of meeting between the two sessions of Parliament is more than 6 months, then he can summon the House. There should not be a gap of more than 6 months between the two consecutive sessions of Parliament. They should ensure that Parliament meets at least twice in a year. Clear? Next is prorogations. The President has authority to prorogue either House of Parliament or both House together. Prorogation means ends a session of Parliament without dissolving the House, that is Lok Sabha especially. What is dissolutions? So the President has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha, House of People. Dissolution ends the life of Lok Sabha and necessitate fresh elections. And this dissolution is irrevocable. It is irrevocable means it cannot be called back. So once if the president dissolve the house, so it asks or it is necessary or it is mandatory to conduct elections, fresh elections, new election, fresh election of the lower house or Lok Sabha. Clear? The Rajya Sabha, Council of State, is a permanent house and is not subject to dissolution. This we have already been seen. Is it clear?